Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Mysteries from Beyond the Other Dominion. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Now the case of the mysterious Bell Witch. Roll it! To investigate the case of the Bell Witch, but first, the trivia question of the day. Let me extricate here from its paper prison. Which future U.S. president personally investigated the Bell Witch case? This is in chronological order. Was it Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Jackson, Lincoln, or Teddy Roosevelt? Now the only prize for the correct answer is one pat on the back that you'll have to administer to yourself. If you want $1 million, call Meredith Vieira. But please, please do not call us. We do not have any operators to take your calls, and if we did, we still could not afford prizes. I'll take a sip of water and be back momentarily with the correct answer. That's such a cute little guy, and he doesn't bite. Yeah. Okay, I'm calling time, and let's take a look at the 6 possible answers of the future president who investigated the Bell Witch case. Was it Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Jackson, Lincoln, or Teddy Roosevelt? Is that your final answer, Lincoln? No, it was Andy Jackson, seen right here. Now, this case actually began in 1804 when John Bell moved his family from North Carolina to Adams, Tennessee, which is in the north-central part of the state near the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Soon after moving in, he got into a spat with a woman named Kate Batts. She claimed that she cheated him on a land deal. And they had an ongoing battle that continued until 1870 when Kate died. Then one day, John Bell was out on the woods hunting, and he saw an unusual creature, a dog with a rabbit's head. And he shot it several times, but it suddenly dematerialized. And it is thought that was the beginning of the Bell Witch haunting, because thereafter, in the household, the members of the family found that their covers were being pulled off. Then there were acts of violence, such as their faces being slapped. Then they began hearing a disparate voice in the background that was very low at first, then became louder and louder, issuing various threats. And this continued for a couple of years. In 1819, in Nashville, Tennessee, about 30 miles south, Andy Jackson heard about this case. Now, 2 of John Bell's sons had served with him in the Battle of New Orleans. So he brought up a contingent of men to help battle the Bell Witch. And included in his contingent was an actual witch hunter. But as their carriage approached the estate, they ran into an invisible wall. And that's when Jackson said, "This is the work of the Bell Witch." And suddenly that invisible wall dissipated and they entered. Now I want to stress at this time that no one during the course of this case, which stretched for about 4 years, did anyone actually see a spirit. They heard disparate voices, and there are these telekinetic activities. But this, I think, in a sense, adds to the coefficient of credibility in this case, because if you're lying about a case regarding a ghost, I think you would say you saw one, but no one claimed they ever saw a spirit. No spirit seen. Now, as soon as they entered the house, Jackson's men searched it. The one man who was the witch hunter issued a threat. He brandished a silver gun and challenged the witch. He said he was going to kill her. Immediately, he was being hit by this invisible force and ultimately fled from the home. And Jackson's men pleaded to go home because they were terrified. By the next afternoon, Jackson did leave. He said, he'd sooner battle the entire British army than face the Bell Witch. Now, the Bell Witch continued to issue threats. And on December 20th, a Wednesday, in 1820, John Bell died. The witch shouted to the family members that she had poisoned him. And yes, indeed, there was a vial of poison at his bedside. She remained until April of 1821, vowing to return in 1828, 7 years later. And she did. At that time, she made a number of predictions. Didn't hurt anyone, but her voice was heard predicting World War I and II, the Civil War, and the Great Depression, all of which occurred. She only stayed a short time, then vowed she'd be back in 107 years later, 1935, and apparently she did again return As always, no ghost seen, just her voice heard and various telekinetic activities. And since that time, there have been sporadic reports of paranormal activity at the Bell Estate. It's considered by parapsychologists to be one of the strongest cases in the annals of paranormal activity. For your consideration, the Bell Witch of Tennessee. Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you.